Okay, welcome everyone to the January 22nd, 2019 Senate Committee on Finance hearing. We have one matter scheduled for hearing and your consideration today. Senate Bill number 65. This is an act relating to taxation, the levy and assessment of local taxes. It enables city and town councils to grant tax relief from payment of real estate property taxes during periods of federal, state government cessation of operations to state and federal employees. So I'm sponsoring this legislation just by way of explanation. It's enabling legislation. It doesn't specify or tell cities and towns that they have to do it or how they should do it. It allows each municipality to determine for itself whether such relief is appropriate and how best to implement it if they choose to do it, whether it's a grace period, whether it's relief from interest and penalties, whatever it might be. Each city and town budgets are different, cash flows are different, so it's meant to be flexible to allow each municipality to make that determination. We've had municipal leaders, I've had discussions with municipal leaders throughout the state who are interested in providing this kind of relief, so that's why I sponsored the bill. We have two witnesses signed up in support of the bill. One is Tony Capezza, who is support but no testimony, and the second is Mark Mancino of the Round IFL-CIO. I see Mark is here. Mark, welcome to Senate Finance.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the Senate Finance, first and foremost, congratulate you, Mr. Chairman, for the birth of your first grandchild.
Thank you.
It's a wonderful thing.
Thank you.
We'd like to thank you, Senator, and your co-sponsors for introducing this legislation. We appreciate the fact that you recognize that government employees that we represent American Federation of Government Employees, which includes TSA personnel, as well as the traffic controllers. We thank you for recognizing the distress and the pain that they're enduring at this point in time. We're approaching the 32nd day of a government shutdown, and it's been extremely difficult for them, obviously, to make ends meet, but they continue to be professionals and continue to perform their duties. But we appreciate the fact that you and other senators have recognized the distress, as I mentioned, that they're going through and are trying to address that. So we thank you for the legislation, and we urge full passage and full support.
Thank you. Questions?
Do we have any type of template that a community could work off in terms of what they wanted to implement in terms of individual tax relief? Whether it be just interest, whether it be just, and what's the procedural aspect of it in terms of application?
I don't think there's a template that's in place at this particular time, but as the chairman mentioned, leaving it entirely up to the municipalities to determine what direction that they should go to offer whatever relief they can provide.
And so I get to say that I've had a number of mayors talk to me about this, and members of town and city councils talk to me about it. I think each committee, quarterly bills are coming up, they're going without paychecks. I think each community is looking at it in terms of what is best for their community. Each community has a little bit different cash flow considerations, a little bit different structures in terms of the timing of their collection process. And so I know that some are considering grace periods, for instance. I know others are looking at the penalty and interest issues. And so I think the idea is to allow each municipality who's interested in doing it to design it based on how they determine their demographics and their budget is structured that will be effective, but not adversely impact their tax collection.
I'm 100% in favor of it. It's just that sometimes, like the cities and towns, lead city towns, or some type of agency would have a so-called template to assist the towns in making sure they have the proper language in place so that they can tweak it to their individual community, but at least it's a template to work from.
Yeah.
I think this is new ground that we're all.
Well, yeah, and obviously it is. And And I was wondering if the chairman had the contact with the leagues of cities or towns or some other agency to help and assist that so that make it easier on the towns rather than trying to confer with each individual lawyer or solicitor in terms of providing that proper documentation.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No,
Since you're in that position.
But Wally, each municipality, it says by ordinance, they'd have to, once they design their plan, they'd have to create an ordinance and have it passed.
Right, right. I understand that, but I'm just saying to assist, especially the smaller communities that may not have the legal representation of the city.
Any other questions or comments from you? Thank you for your
thank you,
testimony.
Mr. Jones.
Any other questions or comments about the legislation?
Second.
Moved to pass and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimously passed to the floor.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn is in order. Seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Stand adjourned.